Hello, those of you kind enough to be paying, and thank you so much for your patience as my knee returns to a state that I can bounce around and play in. Still not there, so the movement's a little bit more tentative than I'd like it, but it's very much in the shape of WAG. It's there. So some of you may have done WAG before, some of you may not, but everything wants to come from here. As we all know, we have the roll out and the roll in, the roll out and the roll in. And that wants to gather the fabric beneath the bowl and above the bowl, so it changes and moves the entire body. Just as if I roll backwards, the fabric of my t-shirt changes shape. As I roll my legs out and thrust, the fabric of my body changes shape. As I gather that fabric and roll in, you see that it begins to stretch across the front of my body as it's drawn, pulled, narrowed, sucked between my leg bones. That's what we're doing. Now, what you may find and what you will probably notice, that there's lots of restriction inside of the body. So there's a temptation to use our back muscles and our tummy muscles and our arm and shoulder muscles to make the shape. But notice when I use my back muscles, there's a very different shape in the fabric of my shirt, whereas when I round from here and when I fold and round out, it's very different. There's something about the wholeness, the completeness, the body as one unit when we have one originating force or action or intention, and let everything else then occur from that. So we discover what's happening as opposed to inform what's happening. We're definitely directing ourselves towards what we want to happen, but there's a sense of discovery. There's a space for us to have a sense of wonder at what's happening. Therefore, the very first movement, or the thing before the thing, is the roll out, but the roll in may not travel that far. It may not lift your chest, it may not lift your collarbones, it may not reach through the inside of your spine. Therefore, what you can do, once you've rolled in, you think, no, I've got nothing more left in me. You then put a happy dog or a sense inside the head where you actually look forward. It's like, go, who's talking? Who's there? Because if you watch here, as I do that in my head, so I go, what's happening above me? What's happening? And it's like my jaw begins to fold my legs into the bowl and fold my spine into the bowl. Or as I've said before, put the key in the lock, put the plug in the socket. Once you've got that, you then draw everything backwards and then flow everything back up again. Try not to loiter when there are stuck bits. You can do a separate practice where you find a stuck part, see it, simply see it, soften something and smile. That will help dissolve some of the tensions, but I can cover that in future classes. I recommend you put all of your attention, at least 50, 60, 70% of it, on this gentle movement of the leg bones, gathering the fabric of the pelvic floor, thrusting and folding, thrusting and folding, thrusting and folding. What does it look like? Let's take a look. Getting settled. First a tiny roll out, ever so subtle and slight, and then you gather the fabric and roll the leg bones in, which, as you can see, for me, as I pull it backwards, it actually lifts my head. But say I'm a little bit stiff, I'm going to put some stiffness in my shoulders and in my rib cage. I'm going to tighten my diaphragm, basically. And I roll out and I roll in, and I just feel it butting against the tension in my diaphragm. That's when I go, where are you lovely paid subscribers? And what that does is it pulls me through, and if I then let go of the tension in my diaphragm, I then come to this glorious shape and posture. From there, you will simply rotate the leg bones out backwards or out, so you come backwards, and then fold them in. I'm going to keep it quite simple because there's a lot of information in there. We'll look at a different side, or we'll look at a different aspect now. So you've got the rolling out, the rolling in, which for me comes all the way up to the head. But even then, if I reach through the head, you'll see it lengthens and lifts my tail. So there's a really amazing feeling of connection from my head to my bowl. The inner channel, the central channel is connected. I soften that and then rotate outwards, which draws me backwards, but I'm keeping the softness in the central channel. And then I fold in, dropping that softness down, and so I come upright. You can loop it back down again. However, I think it's really nice if you just pay attention to one direction to begin with. Familiarize yourself with that. I'm reminded of when I did Tai Chi, we did the right hand form, and then after many years, we did the left hand, the mirror form. So let's keep it simple. One more demonstration. Rotation out, folding in, and putting the head on. Liberating the spine, wagging the tail underneath to draw us backwards, and then coming upright. Trying to keep that softness inside the bowl at all times. So there you have it, the first 3 movements of wag. It's worth spending time on this, even if it's just to discover like, oh, my hips are really stiff, or my knees are really stiff, or this is really stiff. If you find that you're really stiff, go back to cat-cow. Just go back to cat-cow and work on that. And then gradually that movement of the leg bone softens the fabric around the leg bones, creating more space within the joint. So these movements and these shapes and these postures become more available. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate you very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you, well, you seeing me next week. I'll be doing the second video in a moment. Bye for now.